Welcome back, everybody. I have Mark Weisleder here in studio with me, and he is we call you our resident legal expert, and he certainly makes it a lot of fun. And we're going to talk a little bit now about what's in the news, Mark, which is the MLS multiple listing service, the buzz around the fact that, of course, they're cracking down on people reporting solds. So maybe you can explain a little bit about what's happening in terms of the MLS cracking down.
Yes. When you sell your home and you register it against title, everyone in the public can go search title and find out how much you paid for your home. They can pay for that service and find out. However, it's not legal because of privacy reasons for people to just make this information available for free for all consumers on private websites. This is available on MLS for the realtors who built the system, but it should not be available right now. That's the law in this country for private people.
Whether you like it or not, that is the law.
That is the law today.
All right. Now, of course, realtors certainly can tell what the solds are because they have access to that. They can provide paper to their clients who's out there shopping to say this one sold for that, this property this, when they're doing their market research and analysis. But when it comes to posting it on your website, and a lot of people, of course, realtors out there will just admit to this, but the public, just to explain, they want to post those solds because once you've sold a property, I mean, there's bragging rights involved in that. And when you've got close to 100% or sometimes over asking, so 102% or 106% of asking, you want to put that up there and say it's sold for this, but you're not allowed.
Without the permission of the buyer and seller, in each case, you're not allowed to put it on a private website. And that's the problem right here in Canada. In the U.S., you're allowed to do that. You're allowed to do that in the U.S., and that's why everybody says, oh, let's follow. But you also have to remember in the U.S., over 90% of all deals are still done with real estate agents. Yeah. That's why I believe this whole issue is not that important.
I agree with you. I mean, the Pandora's box has been opened. The Competition Bureau has gone forward. It is what it is. And really, as you said, in one of the biggest real estate markets in the world, the United States of America, still 90% of the transactions are done with a professional realtor. So really, is it a problem having access for the public to be able to do their own research, to check things out? I don't think so.
Well, they've been fighting for over 2 years, and in my opinion, it's going to be another 2 years until we get a resolution of this. So unfortunately, we'll still have this murky condition for a while. But you know what? There's a lot more to buying a house than just knowing what the house down the street sold for. There's so much else involved. So don't focus so much on this. Focus on finding the right agent to find you the right house every time. That's more important.
Now, I love you not only because we tend to agree on most things, but you're like the other person that talks with their hands. I love watching you as both you and I are talking with our hands. So let's go back for a second. For the public out there, why should you care? Well, it's just, again, when you're on realtor websites, because you can't help it. Sometimes you're checking out properties. There's a lot of information. More than ever, realtors are realizing that that is your first impression, so they're educating. And I love that. I think that's a great transition of the industry, how it becomes more of realtors are out there to service you and to educate, which is great. But again, if you want to have your home in the sold price on there, or if a realtor wants to have the right to be able to do so, what's the process? They just have you sign a piece of paper giving you all...
Well, you see, it's not so simple because, again, both the buyer and the seller have to agree to this, to have that price shown. And that's not always easy to accomplish. And even, for example, Erin, if you want to put a sign on the lawn that says the property sold over asking, you need the permission of both the buyer and the seller to do that.
It's not even just the seller.
No, you need the buyer.
It's because the new buyer may not want that information out there so people know what they paid for a home.
A lot of people. And as well, you can actually keep the price you paid for your home off title.
How do you do so?
You just pay the land transfer tax in advance to the government, and you can do that. So that shows for some buyers, they don't want people to know how much they paid. It is a privacy issue. Unfortunately, as you know, when you go to court, only lawyers win. So we're going to pay lawyers a lot of money to figure this out. At the end of the day, in a couple of years, I predict the information will be available, and it won't matter.
Okay, what do you think about this? We'll pull in a realtor, and that way we can get their perspective because they're in the trenches, right? They do this day in and day out. Let's see what he feels about this subject. Are we making a big deal out of it? Because they're saying, like, literally, people are scrambling are the words. Okay, they're running around trying to fix their websites to make it, I guess, to code. right? To follow the law as it stands right now. Okay, so we're going to be right back. All right, everybody. So remember, if you've got questions, well, we want to hear them. Visit realestatetalkshow.ca or call our help desk anytime. We actually do get back to each and every one. And that's 844-ASK-RETS. That's 844-ASK-RETS. We'll be right back with Mark Weisleder and also Phil Beecher.